Jesus and Mary chain, and we know that you're back because there's a sudden splurge of Jesus and Mary chain in the music press. You seem to be sort of talking to everybody and going on about how 1965 was a bad year for music.
Oh, 69.
Oh, 69.
1969 was almost the all-time low, the pits in pop music, rock and roll, whatever you call it. And it's like, you know, I mean, what we said was in amongst all of that complete and utter rubbish.
It was a time when everybody who was making great pop music 2 years before were taking themselves far too seriously. I mean, even people like the Rolling Stones. They were forgetting that the greatest aspect of pop music was sort of like 3-minute catchy song. That is the essence of it, really.
Do you think things have changed, though? I mean, isn't the music business just full of people who are taking themselves far too seriously? Aren't our charts full of people like that?
The music business is full of people that aren't taking themselves seriously enough. The music business is full of people that have got a total lack of respect for what music is about. It's like I've got the opposite with me. I've got a lack of respect for the music business, but I've got a total respect for music.
So what are the good things? What are the positive things that are around now? Apart from yourselves, of course.
Glad you said that. There's not very much good things around just now. I think in the past it's like pop music has been, say something like 50% worthless. Just now it's 99% worthless. So we're in among the 1%. So, you know, it's like, you know, that's all I can say. Really. It would take me a long time to think of a group that I approved of that exists just now. And that's a sad state of affairs, really. It's a sad state of affairs when people like Nick Cayman exist, really. People that really just like, they shouldn't be making records, you know, should stick to like modelling or whatever they're good at. But, you know, as far as making records is concerned, it's like...
The sad thing about pop music really is that there always has been Nick Caymans in every era. And what is really fairly depressing these days is that there's too many Nick Caymans, Patsy Kensets, people who in their heart or their soul don't really believe or like what they're doing. They're doing it either to be famous, to make money.
It's like, you know, the likes of like people like Nick Cayman, Curiosity Killed a Cat, they trivialise everything that I'm for. They trivialise everything that I stand for.
But you mentioned people like Nick Cayman or Patsy Kensit or Curiosity Killed the Cat, and you said that those people are always around, but they're not there long term, are they? I mean, they're there for a certain group of people who then dismiss them. They're very disposable.
No, but I mean, it's like quite a lot of people that are worthwhile are, you know, sort of like dismissed as well. It's like
did you feel that?
To feel what, you know?
That you were dismissed?
Not really, because like, you know, we haven't yet been like dismissed by a large amount of people. It's like if we, you know, when we go away, it's our choice basically. I mean, every record that we've ever had out has been in my mind a success. It's like that, and yeah, it's like we're like number 19 in, you know, Gallup charts. It's like, you know, the single before this was number 13 in the Gallup charts.
Yeah, but I mean, the Smiths do that, don't they? I mean, they'll get a high chart entry, and then they will just like bomb out. They'll just disappear very, very quickly. I mean, it's only a small group of people. I mean, very, very loyal people who stick with bands like yourselves.
No, that's where I totally disagree. It's a large amount of people that like the Smiths. I feel quite sorry for that large amount of people that don't really sort of like, you know, don't really see the Smiths as often as they should. It's like, you know, like the Smiths, you know, they're on the tube once every, like, you know, 3 years or whatever. But, you know, the fact that, you know, a Smiths record comes out, it goes straight in at number 12.
And the fact that they win all of the polls as well.
Yeah, that's exactly, like, to me that says it all. To me that says that, you know, like, pop shows ought to be showing the Smiths. To me that says the Smiths at the moment are the most popular British pop group, rock and roll group, whatever. To me the Smiths are the current, you know, they're on the throne at the moment. But, you know, it doesn't look that way.
How long term are bands like the Smiths, do you think, or the Smiths themselves?
I think it's Smiths and groups like the Smiths, group like us, groups like the Bunnymen, groups like Cocktail Twins. I think they last forever, because they don't just last as long as they're making records. They last for, you know, when they're not making records. It's like, I know, for instance, I know you're going to be able to walk into a shop and buy. I know you're going to be able to buy Psycho Candy in, like, you know, 20 years' time. I know it. I know you're going to be able to buy it. I know the record's that good. I know that you're not going to be able to find a Nick Cayman record in 2 years' time. Never mind 20. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about. We make records that last. It's like, no gimmick, just like straightforward rock and roll. We make music because we love music, that's the difference. I'll make music because I've got a large record collection. I'll make music because I adore music. That's the difference. I make music because I'm passionate about it.
So who are your mentors?
They're probably a wee bit predictable, I must admit. It's like, to me, it's like, Eddie Cochran, it's like, Chuck Berry, Eddie Cochran and Chuck Berry in particular. All that early rock and roll when they had nothing to look at, when it just came out of nowhere. This music that sounded absolutely nothing like anything else. To me, that was fantastic. But, it's like, also you get things like Dusty Springfield and all that, wonderful records. They're not what you'd call rock and roll, but that's as important to me as any Chuck Berry record.
Although talking contemporary, we've always sort of taken inspiration from the fact that New Order or the Bunnymen or whatever can get in the charts and sell like so many millions of records. Like Blue Monday being being a 12-inch and selling so many millions. That was quite inspirational, really, because I always thought before that the masses just don't have good taste. Or these days the masses don't have good taste, but sometimes a record comes along that makes you sort of think twice.
Blue Monday's a particularly good example, really, because it's like, what would you say was the biggest selling record that year? It was Blue Monday. Uh-huh. But how many times was that on TV? It was on TV once or twice. Yeah.
Well, I suppose like New Order weren't exactly disposed towards...
No, New Order were on Top of the Pops with Blue Monday.
That's right. You mentioned they've done it kind of grudgingly, and
they did it live as well, didn't they? If my memory serves me right. Yeah, it sounded abysmal. You mentioned the Bunnymen, and they've been away for what, 3 years now. The last album was Ocean Rain. Okay, they've had like a couple of singles out in that time. Are you looking forward to the new album, which everybody's sort of waiting for desperately? I am, anyway.
I think the Bunnymen's new LP will be good because the Bunnymen have got a consistency. They're generally a good group. So I think the next Bunnymen LP is going to be worth listening to.
How much are you indebted to Mike Smith for making people more aware of the Jesus and Mary chain?
We don't owe anything to Mike Smith. Mike Smith destroyed out the chances of a great record getting in the top 10. It's like that record went straight in at number 20, and because of Mike Smith, it never got any exposure.
Or Mike Smith's producer.
Well, whoever's responsible, I don't really know who it is, but to me, whoever stopped that record from getting any exposures, they stopped a great record from getting in the top 10.
We got a hell of a lot of unfair criticism, and people thought we'd put that record out to be banned, but it's like it was news to us that people called heroin candy. That honestly was news, and even then, I don't think people actually do. I think it was an archaic term for heroin.
And also, we don't really want to apologise for anything. It's like the lyrics are as they are. It's like we wouldn't rewrite them. We've no interest in rewriting them. It's like there's too many people with sort of filthy minds, really. People would say that we are sort of slightly degenerate. I don't know. But I think the degenerate people are the people that sit and listen to pop records and say that's not good enough.
Well, people do think that. I said last night when I played your single that only a couple of years ago it was, Jesus and Mary chain, weird, all of that alternative stuff. Mm-hmm. And now, it's blasting out of the radio all the time. The Jesus and Mary chain is suddenly acceptable. Everything's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the way things should be, really. This isn't the first good record we've ever made. We've been making them for years, My only objection is that, it's to me, Never Understand was it was a hit single. It might not have sounded like one. You might have had to use your imagination, but people have imaginations, I think, the general public are patronised too much. They won't understand this. This is got noise on it, they won't understand it. That's not the way it is. It's we play gigs, tons of people come to see us. Those people want to hear the records. I want to hear the records. I want to hear my favourite records and I don't. It's why?
So when Some Candy Talking was out, did you have to explain yourselves to anybody? Were there record company meetings, come in here, Mr. Reid, and tell us just exactly what this is about?
We had to explain myself in every interview for about 6 months afterwards, which was a bit of a shame, really.
It's the kind of thing that we could do without, because we're by no means drug takers. I don't agree with heroin. I've never taken heroin in my life. I don't want anybody to take heroin, and I don't want anybody to try and imply I do. It's not what I'm about. It's not what he's about. We're not interested. Somebody's got a dirty mind. Well, fair enough, but it shouldn't be us that pays.
It's at the time the Star or the Mirror or something, like, said we were into cheap gimmicks, and I think a lot of people saw it that way, as if we had. I mean, we thought Some Kind of Talking was brilliant, and we thought, my God, we've made this record and it's going to be a hit, etc. And then when that happened and people were saying it was a cheap gimmick, we really were like fairly offended by it all, because we were accused and found guilty without. It was like judge and jury stuff from all.
Now you're actually going to be on Top of the Pops this week, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is that something that you've always dreamt of doing?
Well, since I first seen Mark Bolan on Top of the Pops, I decided that that's where I belong. It's took a long time, but finally it's like, it's like 2 days after, 2 or 3 days after the anniversary of old Mark's death, we're finally going to be taking his place. And
all our favourite,
big-headed as it sounds,
all our favourite groups have been on Top of the Pops, from the Glitter Band to T-Rex back to the Stones and then the Buzzcocks in the late 70s, or Magazine and Generation X, and then it was like, you could say it's a dream come true, but it's not really. It's quite anticlimactic, really.
I think Top of the Pops appearances they've influenced so many people to start groups that it's just absolutely incredible. It's like, you may snigger at Top of the Pops, but it's
unfairly, I always think, because all it does is represent the top 40. It's not.
It's like, I agree with that completely.
These days, it's like the top 20, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like, still, it's like, everybody, all of my favourite groups that I've ever seen on Top of the Pops made me want to do something. That kind of gave me I always thought it was a bit kind of like, well, they're not exactly where they should be. It's like they don't look at home there, and that was fine by me. It's like, that's what made it all count. That's what made it all worthwhile. They look kind of odd, out of place. That's what made me want to be in a group. It's like, I'd imagine it's the same with a whole lot of other people.
I remember when I saw the Buzzcocks. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The first time when they were on it, and just before that was like the guy out of Electric Light Orchestra, Violinsky, and like that to me made the Buzzcocks so much better, really, that it came after that, and then like just before I fell in love with a Starship Trooper, something like that.
It's like
Sarah Brightman.
I don't know if it was exactly that, but it was something along those lines.
But it's good that you have all of those diverse things sort of stuck in this one program.
But it makes something good great.
That's what I was going to say. It emphasises what's good about a great group. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's not really very many groups making music because of ELO. Yeah, they were a super group. But I'm pretty sure there's a hell of a lot more groups making music because of the Buzzcocks. Yeah. And that's rock and roll. That's what it's all about.
Do you hope that after this Thursday, people seeing you who might not be familiar with your music will be inspired to form a band?
Well, if there's one new group that's worthwhile because of us being on Top of the Pops, and it was worth us doing, we're all about kind of like keeping what's good going. It's like, if you hide yourself in a closet, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to you're never going to add to anything. You're never going to make pop music get better. All you're doing is keeping yourself to yourself and a few other people.
Well, thanks ever so much for coming in this evening. Good luck on Thursday. I'll be thinking of you.
Can I say hello to Rona?
Of course you can.
Hello, Rona.
I'll say hello to my wee sister, Linda Reid.
Okay. Then.
She designed a sleeve.
Oh, right. Sweet. And when's the album?
Probably August-ish.
That far away?
Yeah, it's probably going to be finished by around about end of May, June.
Does it have a title?
It doesn't. I don't really know. We're probably going to make it the title of one of the songs, but who knows.
And will there be a tour sometime around then?
Yeah, probably. It's not organised yet, but there probably will be, because that's what groups do. They tour about records.
You have to, don't you? Sort of like showbiz. Thanks ever so much indeed, Jim Reid and William Reid. And I'm going to play the other Reid brothers now, which must be a bit weird for you.
It's bizarre.
It's totally bizarre. I think the chances are like two sets of Reid brothers coming from Glasgow at the same time in the pop music industry must be like 10 million, billion, trillion to 1. And I wish I'd have put money on it.
Okay, well, all the best. Thanks very much indeed.